Hello and welcome. My name is Carolina Kerridge and I'm from the Heartstream Wellness Centre, and thank you so much for subscribing. I'm glad that you've now received your handbook, your EFT tapping handbook, that's going to be helping you to alleviate and reduce your stress and anxiety. So in this video, which accompanies the handbook, I'm going to be sharing and doing a demo for you of the tapping technique. So we're going to begin first by just letting you know and share with you the tapping points, the ones that you can use for helping you to take down that stress response. Now, EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, is all about tapping on the meridian centers of the body, which are based on ancient Chinese medicine, where the energies of anxiety, worry, stress get stuck in the system and prevent the energies from flowing. In addition, EFT is really great in working with the brain, which sends calming signals with our fingertips as we tap to the amygdala of the brain, which is hypersensitive, alerting us to dangers and difficult situations, to be able to calm down. And the amygdala can then send a message to the rest of the body, help to reduce cortisol that floods our body when we're stressed and anxious, and we can begin to start to feel calm and more at ease. So let's begin. So the first tapping point that we're going to be connecting to is the side of the hand, and it's called the karate chop point. So we're going to begin tapping here on this very first point. And we do it about 6 or 7 times, maybe longer, totally fine. And then we move to the next point, which is at the center of the head, the crown of the head. And we just tap here. And then we move into the eyebrow, move to the eyebrow point. And this here is, you can feel the very hairs of your eyebrow here, and just tapping here. There's a meridian point just here, much like a grand central station of the meridian lines. If you can see the meridian lines as train tracks, and these are the central stations that we need to access and tap on. And then here, the side of the eye. And here we're just on that bone there at the side of the eye. I can just show you there. Just close to the eye, but not too close. And then under the eye. So following that bone round and just tapping here. It's under the pupil, so directly beneath the pupil of the eye. And you're tapping on that bone lightly there. Not too hard, we don't need to tap too hard. You may even want to choose to use either hand. You can use this left hand or right hand, or you can tap together on these points here too. You can tap here on these points, totally fine. And then we go down to the nose, between the nose and the upper lip, and this is the next point. And then down to the chin, just that little groove in there. Beautiful. And then we go down across the chest or to the K27 point, the meridian point, and you'll find that located at the top of the chest here. And to be really exact, we go and follow the collarbone down. So we go down to the clavicle, that V shape there, and we go down about 10 centimeters, about an inch, and 10 centimeters on either side, about an inch again. And then you can just rub here a little bit. You'll feel it might just be a little bit tender, and then you're on the right spot here. Now you can tap here on these points. You could rub here if you wanted to, or you can do what I do when I'm out and about, and it's just easier because it's such a real key point that you could just use this point in isolation. Again, sending that message to the amygdala that everything is safe and that you're okay. So just tapping on the side of the hand, on the across the chest, with your whole hand here. And then the next point is under the arm. This is the last point, and so here you're going to go right under the arm where your bra strap is if you're a woman, or just where you're across the adjacent to the nipple if you're a man, and you'll just start tapping here as well. Just again 6, 7, 8 taps, a few taps there. Okay, and then the next part of the protocol, the next part of the technique, is we bring it together with Western psychology. So we actually state what the problem is and how we and what it is specifically that's causing us the problem. So, for example, if it's stress, you may want to think about something that's stressing you out at the moment, that's feeling stressful for you, and you're going to rate that out of 10, 0 being not at all, to a 10 out of 10. And aim for something not too intense, between 6 to an 8, something like that. And then we'll bring that together with the tapping points, with a statement as you saw in your handbook, and we're going to just go through the protocol together so you know what you're doing and you can really use this even more effectively. Okay, so we begin on the side of the hand, and we'll say, even though I've got all this stress, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I've got this stress about this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I've got this stress about this specific problem, and really state what that problem is, I deeply and completely accept myself. So you do that 3 times, and then we go up to the top of the head. All this stress about this problem, and just stating what it is very briefly. All this stress about this problem, to the eyebrow, then down to the side of the eye. This problem. And then under the eye, this problem. All this stress about this problem, so stressful, just so stressful. And then under the nose, all this stress, just so stressful. And then the chin, all this stress, just so stressful. And then across the chest here, all this stress, so stressful. All this stress about this particular problem, and just state what it is very briefly. And then under the arm, all this stress. You're doing great. Okay, so just taking a breath here and just relaxing into that. And then we're going to add a little bit extra now. We're going to add where we feel the stress in our bodies. So just tuning into your body and just seeing if you can find a sensation when you think about that stress. Might be a feeling of tension in your head, might be a feeling of tightness in your neck, might be a feeling of anxiety or stress or something difficult breathing here in your chest, might be a deep kind of tummy feeling. Might even feel it in your knees or your feet. It's totally unique to you. So just tuning in as to where you're feeling it in your body And then we're going to add that to the protocol. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. Even though I've got all this stress about this problem and I feel it in my, I'm just noticing where you feel it. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I feel all this stress about this situation, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I've got all this stress about this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. So 3 times. And then we go around 3 times. All this stress about this problem, I feel it in my... Just finish that sentence off as to where you feel it. And then across the eyebrow point. All this stress about this problem. Side of the eye, all this stress about this problem. So stressful. Under the eye, all this stress about this problem. I feel it in my chest, in my tummy, in my head, wherever it is. All this stress about this problem, and I feel it in my... All this stress about this problem, and I feel it in my... All this stress about this problem, and I feel it in my... All this stress, I feel it in my... All this stress, and I feel it in my... All this stress, and I feel it in my... All this stress, and I feel it in my... All this stress, and I feel it in my... All this stress, and I feel it in this part of my body. All this stress, and I feel it in my... All this stress, and I feel it in my... And under the arm, all this stress, and I feel it in my... Okay, so just taking a nice breath. Just seeing how you feel. You did great. So now we're going to go back to the scale, and we're going to rate it again. What number does it feel like now? Has it gone down? If so, well done. If it's still up high, then still well done. But you just need to keep working on it, keep going with it, and in both scenarios, keep going until you get down to 0. But sometimes, if you keep going and it doesn't come down, it may be that you just need to continue tapping for a longer period, or it may well be that there's something deeper going on. It doesn't necessarily mean that the EFT isn't working. It's much more that we need to investigate what's going on beneath the surface. There may well be some issues or some traumas or some things that have happened in the past or recently that have really triggered this anxiety, and we need to go deeper. You need to explore that to be able to really take your anxiety down, and so it no longer becomes no longer part of your life, and you can actually resolve your anxiety, which is something quite new and that we're not really used to understanding, that it's actually possible to resolve our anxieties, our stresses and our depressions, because we're really understanding now that these things are processes rather than conditions that are fixed in stone. So, but more about that in future videos, which I would love to share with you. So please let me know how you get on. Drop me a line, and I'd love to know how you found it. If you have any questions, again, just share with me by email. Would love to hear from you. So just keep tapping. You really can't go wrong. Keep going. And if you have any problems, as I say, get in touch. And I wish you all the very best. Enjoy your tapping, and hopefully you'll feel more and more peaceful and more at ease, and less anxious, so you can get on with your life and enjoy it. So until next time, go well. Take good care.